Summer reading is such a touchy topic. It's hard to get buy-in from all parties, parents and students, and consistency in a busy summer. And as a parent, I can tell you it's hard for me, and I'm a reader and I promote reading in my own home, and my kids are readers, but sometimes it can be hard to find time to really sit down and just read. If you know me, you'll know I'm a quota and timer hater when it comes to reading. Anything that can create resentment or cause students to find reading to be a chore or dislike reading is a no-go in my book. Today, I have ideas to help you and your students not only read this summer, but love it too. I'm Lisa Burns, a teacher success coach, veteran elementary teacher, and mom of 5, and this is the Teach Joyfully podcast. Thanks for joining me today. Are you missing out? Team H.O.P.E Insiders get extra encouragement, tips and tricks, surprise freebies, and more. Become a H.O.P.E Insider today and get access to all kinds of freebies at www.hopeineducation.com/vault. All right, let's dive right into my summer reading success tips. In order for summer reading to be successful, you can't offer families a one-size-fits-all plan. It doesn't work. Every family's life, every family's personality, every family's situation is different. So offering a variety of ways for families to accomplish summer reading on a regular basis is the only path to success. We have to give families options. Having options gives families the opportunity to find what will work for them, for their family's personality, for their family's plans for the summer, for all of the different parameters around each individual's family's lives. So without further ado, summer reading success tip number 1. One simple way to incorporate summer reading in a busy summer are podcasts about books and stories. I love podcasts. I'm a fan, obviously. Do podcasts work for everyone? No, they don't. But they work for an ever-growing population, and introducing families to children's book podcasts is a great way for students and their families to enjoy books and to find new books that they might enjoy as they read over the summer. If you're looking for some great children's book podcasts, it's one less thing to research. Well, let me tell you, I've already done that. So I'm going to give you those. It's in episode number 60, my 7 favorite children's book podcasts. Some of them are stories, and some of them are talk about books and books for kids. So have a listen, see what you think, and then choose the best ones to recommend to your families. Now, for families who want video as well, so students can see the book as well as listen to a story, there are stories online, and I think most of you already know so many of these resources. Storyline Online is a great resource. There's all kinds of YouTube read-alouds where teachers have read books online. Now, there are less than they used to be because a lot of these teachers did not actually get permission to use and read those books online, and so they're starting to crack down with good reason because it is a copyright infringement. But there are plenty of teachers who have partnered with publishers and authors and will have legitimate read-alouds online. So you can still find some. You just need to do a little bit of searching to find the books that you think your students might be interested in. Another fabulous resource for beginning readers and young readers, kindergarten and first grade, is Hubbard's Cupboard. Hubbard's Cupboard has all kinds of phonics-based and sight word-based books that are printable, and you can print them off, and you can even print them off in Spanish and sometimes other languages. They are working on translations so that students can have books that they can read and practice their reading skills at that younger level. Sometimes it's hard to find books at the public libraries for students that are actually at a reading level that they can manage. Plus, the bonus of these little books is kids can color them once they are done because they've already printed them out, and they are all blackline masters, which I really love. They're great in the classroom, but they're also a perfect resource for families, and I will link that in the show notes for you as well. That one has been around for a long time. They have a huge library, and I think you'll really like it. Now, another obvious choice is library reading programs. Sometimes they have charts or giveaways or competitions, but they always have lists of books, and then they also have an opportunity for students to keep a list of the books that they've been reading, and then they turn them in for some sort of prize typically. It's really a great program, and you can sign up for that at your local public library. Also, a lot of times Reading Rockets, Barnes & Noble, and Scholastic will do summer reading programs as well, so check there to see if they're doing them this summer. Then students can get credit in several places for the exact same books that they've read for the library. I call that a win. Another great idea is to send your students home with a book list. You can find pre-made book lists already online if you don't want to create one of your own for your grade level. It's great to have all kinds of wonderful books that kids can choose from in order to expand their reading and get excited about reading. Sometimes we get stuck in our reading, as you well know, I am sure. And so having a resource for students and parents to look at when they're kind of stuck, to be able to go in and say, what else could I read that I might be interested in? So book lists can be good for this. I do not like requiring students to read books off of a book list. I think that creates the wrong tone for reading. So giving them a suggestion list as opposed to a required list is always my preference. And I have book lists with great picture books and things like that. They are in the vault. I think there's 1 or 2 in there. If you want to go in and take a look, you're welcome to download those as well. As always, that vault link is in the show notes. Now, here's one that's a little bit different, and this requires a little bit of prep before your students have left for the summer, and that is for them to send you a postcard at the school, of course, about the best book that they've read this summer. So at some point during the summer, if they read a book they are really in love with, have them create a postcard and send it to you. Now, I recommend that you actually have a postcard making workshop before school ends so that you help them create a postcard for a book. Usually on one side they create the picture that goes along with the book and tells something about it, and then on the back side then they can create that postcard template and address it to the school. If you want, you can give them a pre-done template that actually has the school address already on it, so all they have to do is write their message on the back, do the picture on the front, and put a stamp on it. That makes it a little bit easier for them, and then they can have that template to take with them. If you do that, print it off on cardstock for them so it will actually make it through the mail. Now, this next idea is a classic. It's one that I have used in my family for forever, and it's something that everyone who knows me has already heard. But I hope that this helps you. I like a bedtime readers program. Bedtime readers get to stay up 30 minutes extra to read. I always made sure that once my kids were readers that they had a good working reading lamp next to their bed and a book to take to bed with them. Now, if they were reading chapter books, a lot of times we had read a chapter or 2 out of that book, and I would set it on the table next to them and just say, now don't read too far ahead, right? Because I don't want to have to try and catch up to you. But it might be a picture book that you've already read. It can be a book that they're interested in. They might even have a stack of books next to them by their bed. But bedtime readers get to stay up an extra 30 minutes. Anyone who's not going to be reading needs to turn out the lights. I also like to keep books in the car. Books in the car is such an easy thing for families to do, a great way for them on their travels to get some extra reading in. If you have a very boring car with nothing but books, Mad Libs, and things like that stocked in the car, there is nothing else for kids to do on that trip to the zoo, but boy, they can get in some fun time in the car. It's such a great way for kids and families to read together. Your kids can read aloud to you. They can read to themselves. They can each have books. They can trade them around. You can do Mad Libs together, and they can work on parts of speech while having a ton of fun. There's other kinds of resources like that. Just dig around and see what you find that might be fun in the car. Another resource for families is book reviews. Anyone who's subscribed to Goodreads can do book reviews on Goodreads, and you can help your child do a review of any book that they've read. It's kind of fun to see their own words in print on the internet. I think kids like that. It can be a really great way to get kids motivated to read. You can also provide a way for kids to stay connected on books that they've been reading by doing book reviews on Flipgrid. If you keep a Flipgrid open for students, they can do book reviews and post them throughout the summer, offer their book recommendations to their peers. Another fun resource is ChatterPix. ChatterPix is really cute, and it can be sent to other people, so they can send it to grandparents or anybody that they like, do a little quick book review of a book that they've read. And I'll link all those resources in the show notes for you as well. And I'll check and see if I have a tutorial for ChatterPix for you. It's really easy and fun. If you have older students and you want to create a reader leaderboard, it can be done in Google Sheets, and older students can actually update their reading, and it will update the leaderboard automatically. It's pretty cool. And for older students, it works well. It doesn't work well for younger students. It's just one more thing for parents to do, and that never bodes well. And I do believe that I have a tutorial that I found that was pretty good online, and I'll try and link that for you in the show notes. And my last one is the Million Words Club. I love a Million Words Club. Now, this is not just for summer, because a million words is not going to be read in the summer, but it's a great place to start, and it can be something that can be continued on the next year. So for kids who are incoming to your classroom, you could send something like this out, or you could do it as a whole school to have a Million Words Club. And the Million Words Club is reading a million words in a year. And it can be books that are read to you. It can be books that you've read yourself. It can be books that you've shared the reading with between parent and child. There's lots of ways to position this so that all students can, in fact, participate. But reading a million words is a lot easier than you think. It certainly isn't simple. You do have to focus and actually be committed to reading. And it doesn't have to be in a year. It can be in 2 years. It can be in however long you want to make it. But I like a year simply because it makes it a little bit challenging, but at the same time, something that they can absolutely do. And you can find word counts on Lexile.com for most books. I believe there might be somewhere else you can find word counts for most books, and I will look if I find that other resource. I will put that in the show notes for you as well. So I do have forms for the Million Words Club. So if you want those, that will be your freebie for today. You can grab the forms. I have a letter that you can look at and create your own. I also have a form for students to be able to record the books they've read and number words in each book, continue to total it as they go along. But it is a very simple form, and you can grab that one for free in the show notes. So I'll be sure and link that for you if you're interested in doing a Million Words Club. And even if you don't want to do a Million Words Club starting in the summer, you can certainly do a Million Words Club starting in the beginning of the school year and work on that throughout the school year. And then, of course, if you need to go into the summer, you could. That's just another way to get kids excited about reading. And I would never require it. I would always, as with everything, make that an option. Some kids are very motivated by competition, and other kids are not motivated by competition. They find that stressful. So giving kids that option, it can really motivate certain kids to really get reading. And it's just another way to reach one more segment of your class. I will link as many resources as I can to the show notes for you so that you will have lots of ways that you can quickly access ideas for students and for families in order to be able to continue to read this summer. And one more idea is to give parents a list of favorite authors. If you can give parents a list of favorite authors that you've read throughout the year that your kids have really enjoyed, this is a great way for families to begin to find books that their kids might enjoy, even if they're rereading books that they've already heard in the last year. It is sometimes hard for families to know where to start when it comes to choosing books and when it comes to going to the library. Some people are getting there and they're overwhelmed. So if you can give them a starting place, that can be helpful for lots of families. Just an idea for you. So remember, I don't like making any one idea a requirement for families and students. I do ask them to read over the summer, but you know how that goes. So giving them some very specific suggestions about how to read and make reading fun over the summer can be a great way to get them motivated to actually read. Providing access to books, and whether they're online books or physical books, any way that you can make it a little bit simpler for families and that give them ways to fit it into whatever it is that's already going on in their busy summers. All of those ways will help families be more successful in creating reading routines. I know as soon as we get to summer, routines can go out the window, and so helping families create the idea of reading whenever they can and fitting it in sometimes is the best way. Obviously, it's nice to have a routine, get up in the morning, have breakfast, sit down and read. If that works for families, those suggestions are always helpful, but it doesn't work for everyone. And so we need to remember to give families lots of options and opportunities to be able to continue to read over the summer in ways that will appeal to different families and different students. So that's it for this episode of the Teach Joyfully podcast, my teacher friends. My sincere thanks to you, my listeners, for tuning in, and for all those of you who've taken the time to post a review, email me your thoughts, or DM me on Instagram with your feedback and topic requests. You can find the show notes and all the resources mentioned in the episode on my website at www.hopeineducation.com/podcast. And remember, a happy teacher is a good teacher. Until next time, teach joyfully and take care of you.